Welcome back to the Josh Madden Show. On today's episode, we're going to be discussing Antonio Brown again. First off, I just want to say sorry for the long time between uploads. To let you behind the scenes a little bit, I've had this video ready to go a couple times actually. And every time I got close to pressing the upload button, there had been a new development in this story, and I had to take it down and try to re-upload it, try to get it ready to go. So I just decided finally to just wait a couple days, let the dust settle, and so I could have all the details to make this video. So that's why there's been a long upload time. I apologize about that. But now let's get into it. So just kind of to rehash some of the stuff that we already know. Antonio Brown signed with the Raiders this offseason after leaving Pittsburgh on kind of shaky terms. He didn't play for them in Week 17 when they had a chance to make the playoffs, and him and Mike Tomlin kind of had a strained relationship. But that doesn't matter at this point. He forces his way to the Raiders, gets signed there. Things are kind of looking up for the Raiders at this point. They have Derek Carr there. They have John Gruden in his second year. They have some promising rookies this season. So if you're a Raiders fan, you're getting kind of excited at this point. Probably not a playoff team, but at least you have a couple interesting players this year. And until John Gruden trades them away. Looking at you, Khalil Mack. But then you get into the whole helmet situation. So Antonio Brown was wearing a helmet that he's worn his whole career. The NFL says, hey, you can't wear that, it's not safe, and Antonio Brown doesn't like that, holds out from practices and training camp and all that stuff, trying to get this helmet situation sorted out. The Raiders support him pretty much the entire time there. He loses 2 appeals with the NFL regarding the helmet. Eventually, their GM, Mike Mayock, says, hey, you got to come to practice. He does it. Then this is where things start to get weird. So the Raiders fine him because he's starting to mouth off to Mike Mayock at practice, which I don't really know whose side I'm on there. I don't know all the details. But anyway, he gets fined. He posts it on his social media saying that he was fined, and then the following day that there's another big fine. He's mouthing off to Mike Mayock again. Punts a football in his direction, tells him to fine that. And things are getting pretty shaky at this point. So then all the reports from Adam Schefter, Ian Rappaport start coming out that he wants out. He doesn't want to be on the Raiders anymore, and he's pissed. So the Raiders start looking into their options. They find a clause that if they release him before Week 1, they get all of that money back. They don't owe him anything. So you get the report. They're going to release him. Antonio Brown isn't going to be a Raider anymore. And the following day, you get the report that he apologized to the Raiders, and the Raiders are going to have him back. John Gruden says he's going to play in their Monday night game against the Broncos, which doesn't seem like they need him. They beat the Broncos pretty handily, and the Broncos look bad, but that's another video for another day. So you hear that they're going to sign him. They're going to let him play, rather, excuse me. Then the very following day, they end up releasing him again. So this is already one of the craziest stories of this offseason. This offseason's been awesome, by the way, for content. So at this point, he was going to be released. He was going to play in their first game, and then he actually was released. And then kind of Twitter goes insane. All the reports are saying that he's going to go to the Patriots, which is, of course he is. Why wouldn't he? And the Patriots seem to just have all the luck. Then they seem like they're going to walk right into the Super Bowl game. And he does end up signing with the Patriots that day. And I don't know. It took me a couple days to kind of unpack that and let my mind wrap around that whole situation, because it's like the saying, the rich keep getting richer, and that's the Patriots. Because if you watch the Patriots game against the Steelers on Sunday night, they dominated without Antonio Brown. All of their wide receivers were open. Josh Gordon looked great. Julian Edelman looked great as always, and even Philip Dorsett looked really solid. And now they're getting, I don't know, top 5 wide receiver, definitely top 10 wide receiver in the league still, adding him to their roster, and it's just like, Why are all the other teams even playing at this point? Just give them the Super Bowl ring because they have no weakness. Because it's not like Pittsburgh was a bad team. I have them as like a fringe playoff team. If they get a couple breaks, they're going to make the playoffs, or they're going to be really close by the end of the season. And the Patriots just beat the crap out of them, to put it frankly. I mean, it wasn't even close. And Pittsburgh isn't like a bad team. It's not like the Ravens beating the Dolphins really bad, where the Dolphins are just terrible. Pittsburgh's like a legitimate team. They have real talent on that team. And the Patriots look like they were playing a college team. Like, Pittsburgh had no answers for the Patriots offense. The Pittsburgh offense couldn't get going. The defense for the Patriots looks the best it's looked in years. Like, that secondary is legit this year. Might be the best secondary they've had since like Lawyer Malloy, since those days, like the early 2000s. So the Patriots just look unstoppable, and now they add Antonio Brown. I just don't know. It could be like another Randy Moss type season where Tom Brady puts up career numbers and they just walk right to the Super Bowl. Maybe. The AFC isn't really that good, especially the AFC East. We know the Patriots are making the playoffs. The Dolphins look terrible. The Jets don't look that great. I think they're probably the second best team there, even though they lost to the Bills. The Bills are weird. I think that they're going to win probably like 8 games or so. But I still think the Patriots are just walking right into the Super Bowl. And now they get a great player. A kind of a diva player, but a great player. Okay. So now we've kind of discussed the whole situation. Let's get into kind of some conspiracy theories that have been floating around. That Antonio Brown wanted to play for the Patriots the whole time and forced his way out of Oakland and didn't want to play there at all. This is kind of an interesting theory. It makes sense just from a pure football perspective. The Raiders are one of the worst teams in the league. The Patriots have been the best team in the league for the last 2 decades, probably. You can make the argument that the last 2 decades the Patriots have been the best team. So it makes sense from that perspective. But when you start thinking, Antonio Brown had like $30 million guaranteed from the Raiders. And he went to the Patriots, who I think the number's $9 million guaranteed. I could be wrong. There's probably a lot more bonuses and stuff like that he could get, for like a certain amount of yards and touchdowns and stuff. But I want to say the number's like $9 million guaranteed straight up, right out of the gate. So you lose out on $20 million essentially to go play for the Patriots for 1 year. You could say that he already has all the money that he would ever need, which is probably true. But it just doesn't make sense that you would give up that kind of money willingly. I also heard that this could be some like CTE related stuff. I don't really want to get into that. That's, it's pretty taboo. I don't want to make assumptions like that because that's pretty serious stuff. But just really weird. Also, they signed him so quickly. Like, it was almost right after he became available. I want to say it was like he had to wait until 4:01 Eastern time to sign him, and the Patriots signed him at like 4:05. So I don't want to say that there was collusion or anything, but maybe there was kind of some like, some like nudge, wink, wink stuff. Like, hey, you get out of Oakland, we're gonna come and get you, and we're gonna go win a Super Bowl. So, I think it's great for the Patriots. It's really no risk for them. We've seen in the past, they take shots on these players that kind of have troubled pasts. Kind of the most notable example was Randy Moss. They signed him after Randy Moss necessarily wasn't like a troublemaker, wasn't like a diva, but he was quirky. Patriots took a shot on him, and he was great for them. More recently, Josh Gordon, obviously, great player, great talent, has some off the field issues. So all that's to say that the Patriots will take shots on these types of players and kind of give them a second chance, and a lot of times it works out for them. And even if it doesn't, they have so much talent on this team that it doesn't really matter. Like I was saying earlier, like even if Antonio Brown doesn't pan out and he has a lot of off the field issues and he just doesn't buy into the Patriots, they still have a bunch of wide receivers. Like they have Demaryius Thomas, who's like old and probably past his prime, but in that offense could probably catch like 40 passes. which is pretty solid for like a third or fourth wide receiver. They also have Edelman, who's always just one of the most reliable receivers in the NFL. Gordon, who looked great against the Steelers. If he can just stay on the field, he's going to be one of the best wide receivers in the league. And yeah, so I mean, there's really no risk there for the Patriots. For Antonio Brown, it's a chance for him to go and win a Super Bowl, go on a really big playoff run, which he never really did with Pittsburgh. That's kind of the only thing he's lacking in his career. He's got all the stats, like the season records, but he needs some postseason accolades here. And if you're gonna go to any team to get those, the Patriots is probably the one you'd want to go to. So for him, I can see him staying this season, winning a Super Bowl ring, and then going and signing somewhere else for a lot of money. That's kind of where I'm at with that. And yeah, just a really bizarre story, and but it was fun. It was fun to follow. Kind of disappointing that he went to the Patriots. There was talk that he was going to go to the Seahawks, which is my personal favorite team. I love the Seahawks. From the Pacific Northwest. I live in Washington, so it would have been nice to have him pair him up with Russell Wilson, who throws probably the best deep ball in the league. That would have been super cool. But I'm excited to see how this plays out. Thank you guys for watching. As always, if you have any suggestions for another video, leave them in the comments. If you have any tips to make my show even better, please leave them in the comments as well. I appreciate all constructive criticism, and hope to see you guys in the next one. Thank you.